Tiz is in the frame. Yeah.
What's up? Yes.
Cool. Let's do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Trip Digital Radio presents Tiz the Time today. That's it.
What's up with that?
What's going on, Tiz, man? It's good to see you.
It's been a blessing, man.
Hey, man, how was last week, man? The party, the gathering.
It was great.
It was great.
It was great, man. It was a great gathering to get people together. You know, bring back the guests.
Yeah,
we got to learn, grow, and be enlightened by.
Yeah,
so it was really cool.
And I got a call from Gaddison. He doesn't hate me, so no, I think we're doing a good thing.
That's good. That's good. I see him doing big things. Man.
Yeah,
good stuff, man.
But Joe, I think we should bring in a guest, man. I think I should bring in a guest, man, because you know, I know her, and before I got to know her again, we kind of ran through Hollywood, and Hollywood was a different place from now. You know, you look around and you see certain things that wasn't there. So I think I'm gonna bring back the essence of what a true artist is, what a true actress is, what a true just overall singer, writer is. I think this woman represents what art was and what it will be. Again. Let's bring in Miss Tali Bond.
Yo, give it up, son, baby.
Hello.
How are you
doing?
Wonderful. Happy to be here with you guys.
Yes. I mean, we're missing like a couple people from our team, but I mean, me and Tiz, we're residents here. We always hold it down, so you can get comfortable.
Always.
You can get comfortable
Already
around us.
There we go.
Yes.
Baby,
you know,
hey,
too sexy man. He's sexier than me, but you know,
whatever.
We will hold you down and protect you.
But we gotta get into that, man, because the name Taliban.
Yes.
It had a meaning that you was talking about earlier. Tell us about that.
So Tai Li, it is a Chinese name that translates heaven on earth in English. My parents blessed me with that name.
Wow.
And they're my heaven on earth, that's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
They put a lot on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Heaven on earth.
I'm happy to hold that weight.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at that.
Heaven on earth, man. It's good to know you.
Good to know you, Journey.
Because with that name, heaven on earth and Journey, like anything is possible.
Anything.
And everything.
Everything.
Heaven on earth is your journey through heaven on earth.
Yeah, it's been good.
All right, cool. So when we get into it, tell us where you're from. Tell us a little bit about your background for those who don't know you.
I was born in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a full-blooded Romanian girl. Some people mistakenly classify us as gypsy. We'll get into that later.
Okay. I'm going to take a note on that.
And art, the meaning of art, the word artist is something I hold with honor. I don't use that word as the same as some people might say public figure or painter or lighting rig. Art is something I've only known and only understood my whole life. I grew up around it. My parents saw inside of me that there was a creative being born, and that's all I've ever understood. That's the only thing that spoke to me was music, poetry, words, performance, stage, life, and that is what I was allowed and embraced to do by my parents. And I don't think that I could say I am an artist without that in my back pocket, in my world. So being in the arts is my entire life. Started out at the Children's Theatre of Montreal and continued on to be the top child model of Canada, and went on to do various theatrical performances, London, a lot of different things.
So we're gonna wheel that back because I had a few questions about that. So what hit you before? Was it the music or was it the acting? What was it for you, or was it a combination?
I think it was a perfect storm of the two. Yeah. Being a vocalist always made sense. melody always made sense for me.
Mhm.
And I loved singing and words and understanding verbiage and wordplay. And in that, I also loved to perform. Being on stage or being in front of a group of people or my family
Yeah.
was exciting for me. And just it was a way of reaching to the people that I loved and expressing who I am, who
Yeah.
I was, who I am. I'm still that person. So it happened at the same time.
So what was that time? What was that first experience that you had in front of, I'm assuming it's going to be your family. When did you step up at the family gathering and perform?
I was 4 years old and I wrote a song and I decided to sing it for my parents. And we had some friends over and that's what happened. So that was the first one. And then from that, poetry continued, song continued, and I wanted to do theater. And I said, how can I do that in front of more people? And yeah.
So did that first song had like an intro, a bridge, a hook? Was it well written, or was it just bars, if you will?
Would you like a taste?
I will. I would. Yes,
It
please.
went something like this. Walking downtown with an old banjo, walking with my friends, that's the way it goes. Walking downtown. That's how.
There you go.
Hold on. How old were you
I was
again?
4
She said
years
at 4.
old.
4 years old,
We
walking
can
downtown
call-
with a banjo.
I had no banjo.
Yeah.
Come
4
on, that
years
sounds like some adult language there.
We can call
She said she liked
mom and
verbiage.
dad right now for
Really?
verification.
Okay, I believe you. You don't have to call mom and dad. Walking downtown with
Walking
a
down-
banjo.
Yes.
You are an old soul.
Yes, you are. At 4 years old?
At 4 years old.
You had a few more heavens on earth. I got to say that.
Thank you.
Okay, that was a compliment.
Thank you.
So is that walking downtown banjo, is that typically the type of music that you're creating? No, I'm just kidding. What is the typical type of music that you're creating nowadays?
I think typical and Ty Lee and music probably don't meet up at the same club.
Love it.
I have been trained in opera. I rap. I sing old school jazz. I can also sing other types of music, pop. Oh, yeah. But I don't prefer it.
Like that. We're going to talk about that one.
So yeah, old school jazz is my heart. That's where a lot of my inspiration comes from.
Who is it?
Nina,
Etta.
Yes.
Okay.
Billy,
Mm.
and
So-
Jennifer Holiday. No offense to Hudson, but Jennifer Holiday.
Oh, yeah.
Lesser known.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But
Well,
yeah.
Depends on who you're speaking to.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And you said something about rapping in there, and I've heard it before. But let's talk about the inspirations of your rap life.
Absolutely. So, there are wonderful artists out there who rap, who have tickled my fancy. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, Tupac Shakur and Marshall Mathers, aka Eminem, aka Slim Shady,
Mm-hmm.
are two so diametrically opposed artists in their melody,
Mhm.
or in M's case, lack thereof, their flow, in Eminem's case, verbiage play and wordplay.
Mm-hmm.
Those two artists have spoken to me the strongest. Hearing Tupac take such important messages and concepts and turn them into thug life, and thug life meaning something a whole lot more than just gang related
Yeah.
things. And then somebody like an Eminem who comes in as a dictionary nerd, coming from the wrong side of 8 Mile and knowing words, teaching the community of rap words that never would have been in our vernacular at all. So Eminem and Tupac are my inspirations.
Well, can you give us an example of that? I mean, if you will, because I want people to really, really know the different sides to to who you are.
Mhm.
I mean, I had the pleasure to talk to you before this, but I want people to know those artist side that kind of complete you, because I think artists have dimensions. They have it's like lights on crystals. There's different colors. So can you give them an example of that Tupac and Marshall thing, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, would you like a splattering of the two songs that I enjoy? That
Yeah, just a little bit.
just
Just
a
4
taste.
bars.
Right.
That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. West Side, bad boy killers. You know who the realest is, bitches. We bring it too.
And there it is. And there it is. There's sides to this.
So there's
and
sides to
yes.
Tupac. That
Yes.
that would have been that is the beauty of a real rap battle.
Conviction.
My phone make sure all y'all kids don't grow. You motherfuckers can't beat us or see us. We motherfucking thug life riders, West Side till we die.
Different from Dear Slim, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. You left my cell, my pager, and my home phone at the bottom. I sent 2 letters back in autumn. You must have got them. So it's a different vibe, right? But M also had the softer side of, it's morning. You wake, a sun ray hits your face, smeared makeup as we're laying away at destruction. Shush, baby, speak softly. Tell me you're awfully sorry that you pushed me into the coffee table. It's the sign so I should push you off me. So you can see where M can get a little dirty too.
Yeah. And kids out there that are listening, they need to know this. I mean, it's a depiction of study that you have to go to really, really understand what true artistry is. It's message, it's word, and it's delivery.
Yes.
All day.
All day.
And night. That's what you do. But yes. And yes.
Yeah.
So talking about the artistry and everything like that, you did some time in London.
Yes.
Let's talk about that part.
Definitely.
And that was on your theatrical.
Yes. So London is a huge part of my heart, a huge part of my soul. And I have been lucky enough to play the Bard, also known as William Shakespeare. Some of his most incredible women in his plays. I got to do a year of playing Miranda in The Tempest on London's West End. So it's basically, for people who aren't familiar with what is London's West End, it's basically Broadway in London.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I then followed that with a year of playing Ophelia in Hamlet, 8 shows a week, twice on Wednesday, twice on Friday, and we're always dark on a Monday.
That part.
And then most recently, 2 years of playing the role that I would say is my favorite, that I've most honored to have played, is Juliet, 8 shows a week for 2 years as Juliet Capulet in Romeo and Juliet.
Wow. So tell me this. I mean, you have theater,
Yes.
which is the realest of the realest acting and artistry.
It's the rawness.
And then you have on-screen camera scripts.
Yeah.
What's the difference in your world? Like, how do you take that?
Wait. What do you mean by that? What's the difference in your world?
Your world. I mean, some are movie people, some are theater people. So in her world,
Right.
I mean, what do you think? Like, how does those worlds? How do you take those two worlds?
On a superficial level, there is an instant gratification with theater and performance because you feel that energy of that audience, whether
That's
it's
what I wanted to know.
Whether it's 1,000 people or 10,000 people or 10 people.
Yeah.
There is that vibe. There is that buzz in the air. There is that excitement.
Mhm.
There's that first step on stage, which, if you're doing the right thing every night, feels like the first step. Never have jitters, always have goosebumps.
Yeah. And Mr. Tiz here, he can relate to you. And that's why I asked the questions, because this is a theater man as well. He did theater, Broadway, New York. I mean, off Broadway as well.
And that that adrenaline rush, that rawness, and it was just always different.
Yeah.
Didn't matter who it was, is that same face you saw for 30, 40, 50 shows. Didn't make a difference. But the delivery, the difference every single time, that, it's just magic. So then, hearing that from you, that's, I can definitely relate.
A lot of people said to me when I signed on for the second year of Juliet, how are you going to do a second year of Juliet? Because it's like a mini marathon, 8 shows a week. It's intense. And I like to say, especially when I'm in the US and in Los Angeles, when someone asks me what I do for a living, I like to say I professionally cry and die, except on Mondays. And but as there is no ad lib with Shakespeare, you can't ad lib an iambic pentameter, you can't ad lib his words. But there is nothing stale about that. That second year, again, every night felt like the first night. Every time I would say, and when he shall die, take him and cut him into little stars, and he shall make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night. I'm sorry, I could say that 17 more times.
That was going to be my question. It's like, how many times within Shakespeare did you find that you found a new way or a new word or a new phrase or a new meaning to each one? I mean, it's just so powerful. You know what I mean? I when I'm watching you, I'm like, God, I remember that.
Yeah.
It's just like, so much energy.
Yeah.
And once you find it, it's like, it's elation.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So even though you can't necessarily change the words or do anything outside of that, for instance, I'm with the Groundlings as well. So that, of course, is the complete opposite. That's the antithesis of anything iambic pentameter related. But even though you can't play with those words, you can play with the way those words hit you. When Juliet is saying her last words, "Oh, happy dagger." What does that mean?
What's a happy dagger?
What does that mean? How happy is that dagger? That dagger is really happy because she gets to be with the most important person in her universe.
Right.
And how sad is that dagger? Even though it's happy, how sad is it? Because now she is no longer breathing on this earth. So, yeah.
And that dagger thing, because it's flowing through you, then not only does it get to represent Juliet, it gets to represent whatever is in your world on that day.
Definitely.
At that time.
Oh, yeah.
In that minute.
Yeah.
That's the magic of theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you on it all day. It's awesome.
It's powerful. I can listen to this all day because this is real art talk. This is real art talk. And as platforms change and everything get digital, content is a bit more accessible.
Right.
But how does that change your world as knowing that part and how things are being distributed and looked at? How does that change your world?
I'm a purist to the point that if it means that my art is going to be in my home, writing, listening to real instruments, singing with other singers, playing with other artists, other actors, I'm okay with that. Because it's keeping that word honorable.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, if somebody says, okay, we're not going to use the word artist, but we're going to use this word, and will you do that? Yes. But if we're using a word that I cherish, that's what art is. And you can't manipulate real, raw existence.
No.
All that will happen is you can bruise it, you can tamper with it, but it still is existing.
Yeah. And that was sort of a trick question to an artist because, I mean, you can't create goosebumps. You can't, I don't care how much digital we usher into our lives. I mean, there's still going to be a process that's natural that comes from thought, inspiration to creation. Yeah. And that's what I feel that artists like you should always take a moment, and you do, you're going to follow her on Instagram, but take that moment to really, really say to artists that are just coming into the digital game to that, fall in love with the process.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And don't call your art content.
and please stop saying you're a public figure.
Oh, that part.
If you're running for
I didn't even know that was an
Office,
option.
right?
if you're running for office, yes,
Exactly.
you're a public figure.
Exactly.
If you're playing music, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a public.
I think we're all
Wrong.
public figures. I mean, they own our data, so
Yeah.
it's like, hey,
It's gone.
now you see me. Now you see me all the time. It's not even now you see me. Now you don't. But yeah. So with all of this, with your singing career and your acting career, what's next for you?
Expectation is the death of art.
Mm,
So
Okay.
what is next for me?
Mhm.
I'll let you know.
okay. Okay. Simple and plain.
I like
There
that.
it is.
I like
The
that.
dagger is smiling.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
like
you're
that.
absolutely right. I mean, and a lot of people would like to plan ahead and everything like that, but art kind of comes to you wherever you're at, and it happens.
So since you have that in your mind, you say expectation
Mm,
is a dagger. So
yeah.
you're not going to give us something that you're currently working on? Are you dabbling in something that you want to speak about?
I mean, your girl is always working
I
on
know.
something.
I know.
Yeah, I have a passion project called Cinderella's Nightmare. And that is a conceptual album. It is a visual album. We all know the story of Cinderella. She's a beautiful princess who at midnight turns back into who she really is, which is just a simple maid in the basement of her stepmother's home. The idea of Cinderella's Nightmare is, who are we? Who are we behind the mask? Who are we behind this facade? When someone looks at you and judges you based on what you look like, whether it be beautiful, whether it be ugly, whatever they conceive is beautiful or ugly, whether it be wealth, lack thereof, who are we? And the masks that we wear, are we choosing to wear these masks because we don't know how to communicate to someone else without this mask? Or are we wearing this mask because we're afraid to show who we really are? The real beauty of it is, who do you become when the clock strikes 12? That's who I want to know. That's who I want to know you are. I want to know who you are when the clock strikes 12. I don't want to know you at 11:55, 56, 57, 58, or 59. I want to know you at midnight. I want to know you at 12:01, because that, in a sense, is Cinderella's nightmare, is that she's turning back into who she is. But the beauty of it is, that is the chrysalis, that is the caterpillar turning into the actual butterfly.
Right.
So, yeah, Cinderella's Nightmare is my current baby.
So within that nightmare, does there come to some type of totality when it comes to a finality where we know we get an answer?
I think when watching, hearing, experiencing art, that is our job as artists, is to allow our audience to have an answer for themselves. If we're delivering with an expectation of what they're supposed to understand, we've already damaged the art.
Damn, repeat that.
I like her.
Please repeat that.
I like her.
Wow. I
mean,
think the same way, but I never saw it that way. Just one more time. Could you repeat that?
If we have our audience to expect something, if we've come in there already with the period and black screen, fade to black, and we want our audience to have interpreted our art with our answer, we have damaged the art for our audience. Our audience has to be left with the answer for themselves to experience what art is. Because how else can someone who not necessarily is an artist experience that moment of, oh, that's what that meant. That's what changes meant for Tupac. That's what that moment in a ballet, in the most beautiful moment, that's what that meant to me.
right.
And therefore that person, that audience member, has their own Monet to think about and look at and remember in their own way. And that means we've done our job as delivering an experience.
I like that.
I love that. And I think for that to happen, the trust has to be in the artist.
Yeah.
Whoever you're watching that's delivering the message or whatever, it has to be a genuine trust. And that trust only comes from them being who they are at 12 all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Being the realest that they can be, knowing the responsibility of their position as an artist. That's why I wanted to hear it twice, because I mean, that's a lot. That's heavy.
Yeah.
It's really, really heavy to be on like that. But that's the responsibility of an artist.
Yeah.
You don't like it, get out of the kitchen.
Exactly.
You know, because you have lives that are looking and watching. And wow, if you're changing glass slipper into shell toes, you got to choose.
You do.
And glass slippers, they crack.
Most of it.
So rock the shell toes. They're more comfortable.
And I know you kind of answered this, but you know, for those watching and for those listening, what would you want to tell those who are following you, those who are listening, those who are paying attention, about yourself and what your, I don't know, well, is it journey?
Yeah.
What is your journey?
Well, voyage.
What would you want to tell them?
Well, while still respecting your name, Journey,
Hey.
for me, it's always been not the destination, but the journey. And our journey and my journey, and if you are enjoying my content or you think, let me see how I can criticize this or figure this out, or do me this favor. I challenge you to be at 12:01 a.m. for a week. Not for the rest of your life, for a week. And let me know how you feel. I want to know how you feel, because we can only learn, we can only grow, we can only become more of what we need to give to other people by knowing how someone else feels. So if you want to understand me a little bit, tell me what it feels like to be at 12:01 a.m.
Wow.
Be the real.
Okay.
That's what it is. And that's very true.
Yeah. So with that, where can they find you on social media and
You can
out there?
At 12:01 a.m.
12. Actually, you can find me on my Instagram page, Tylee Bond, TAILIBOND. That's my handle. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
And
Okay.
so these up and coming project that you have right now,
Yes.
and many more that you have
Yes,
out right now.
there are definitely some others.
Where is it on all across the board as far as where they can find?
There will be some releases of some content. Right now, there's a few things in some lock boxes and
Okay.
some few things that will be out. For my Instagram followers, right now we're doing something really fun. I like to take covers and turn them into my version of a cover, which is not a karaoke cover.
Okay.
So right now we're doing a little, you get to choose what I cover. And so we're taking everything from, you get to pick if you want me to do a pop song, a rap song, a rock song, a country song, and how I'm going to change that. So that's where you can have some fun. And then I do have shows. I just did a small tour, a little mini tour in Vegas. Had some fun with that. And I'll keep everybody posted on everything that's coming up. Also just shot a short film. So there's some other things going on as well.
So the best way to keep up with you is going to be through Instagram.
Yeah, the best way to keep up with me is Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't be mad.
So, So, with that being said, Tiz, you want to take us out with that final
Yes.
question?
You know, it's really
Drum roll,
it's been
please.
a while, man. It's been a while. I gotta get
gotta
back in this.
prep for that.
But we before we leave and before we have to say goodbye. No, just kidding. We always like to ask our guests. I want to find out, and we give this to our listeners. I want to find out what's your superpower.
Reflection.
Reflection.
Inviting people into a space of raw emotional content that brings them to their heart.
Wow.
Reflection.
Reflection.
Like that person you see when you look into the ocean.
Yeah.
It just waves.
Well,
It's
like
real.
she said, at 12:01, you
Wow.
reflect. Because at that point in time, you are the real. So if you're reflecting on all that was not supposed to be, I guess, and you're looking at who you're supposed to be, you've just put them in a different space.
Yeah.
Reflection. I like it.
So, with reflection, I want you to take them out with something from the lovely voice.
Yes.
We saw the raw, we saw the rap. I want to take them out with something that's truly lovely. Just right from there and there.
At last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over. And life is like a song at last. The stars above are blue. My heart was wrapped up in clover. The night I first laid eyes on you, I found a dream that I could speak to now. A dream that I could call my own. And I found a thrill to press my cheek to. A thrill that I had never known. You smile. Oh, and then the spell was cast, for here we are in heaven. Oh, you are mine at last.
There you have
There
it.
is.
Let's give it up for the multi-talented
Goosebumps.
Ty Lee Bond.
Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Tiz. It's been a pleasure.
Trip
love.
Digital
Thank you.
Radio. Always special. We will be back.